Reg Kelly, Table in the Wilderness, and I want you to look at my brand new ruler, my brand new measuring tape. You know, in the Bible, it says that all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. In other words, we don't measure up. We're not righteous. We're wicked. We're sinful by nature and by practice and willfully. And God has provided a means for us to measure up to his standard of righteousness and his holiness, and that's the righteousness of his son, Jesus Christ. Well, I just want to encourage you today that, anyway, I got this new ruler, and it's not like the old, 1 foot rulers. By the way, the word ruler or the tape measure, in school they called it a ruler. And why did they call it a ruler for? Because it rules, okay? But I got me a new ruler. Now, it's not very much different from the old rulers, but an inch is just a little bit more than what you might know as an inch. And like this, instead of 16ths, it's 17ths, and it's 15ths, and it's 13ths, and so forth like that. But it's still a ruler. Now, I got a job last week working on a carpenter crew, and I used my new ruler. I don't know what went wrong, but the boss fired me. He said, your ruler is not the same as our ruler, and we can't build a straight house and a right house with two different kind of rulers. And I tried to discuss with him and tried to tell him, I said, listen, this ruler isn't very much different from your ruler, just very little things have been changed. And he said, Kelly, I don't care. Your ruler's messed up, it's perverted, and it's not ruling at this job site. He raised up his tape, which is a standard, inch measurement tape, and he said, our ruler's going to rule. And he said, if you don't get you a standard ruler, I can't use you. And I said, well, you're just intolerant, you're bigoted, you're prejudiced. I'll let him have all that liberal stuff. I'll let him have it. So anyway, here I am with my new ruler, and I'm wanting to know if anybody would hire me as a carpenter on a job site with my new ruler, because I've got it, I really like it. It's a lot easier to read and easier to understand than them old rulers. Yeah, it's a lot easier to understand. So I've got my new ruler, just want to know if I can get a job out there on carpenter work with my new ruler. And like I say, it's just a little bit, our inch is just a little bit over maybe your standard inch, and not much difference. The house won't be too far off when we're done. You'd say to me, Reggie, that's nuts and that's crazy. What are you doing that for? Well, it's not any different than you getting you a new ruler Bible. You say, well, there's not much difference. They're pretty close. And they're, it's easier for me to read, stuff like that. I'm going to tell you something. God preserved his word, and it's right here. Right here. And he's not putting up with a new ruler. His word's going to rule. Did you know that Jesus Christ's name is the Word? In the beginning was the Word, capital W, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And God's not changing it for you and I. Oh, I like to aggravate you a little bit, but some of you need to get rid of those new Bibles that you got, those new rulers. You need to get back to the one that God has and will use. And by the way, that's what you're going to be judged by. You will be judged by God's word at judgment seat, and that will be the rule. And I want to encourage you to do that. You may be saying, Reggie, listen, churches will have to have artificial, satanic substitutes for God's power that use new Bibles. I'm honest with you. I want to encourage you. You may not believe this. I don't care. But it's the truth, whether you like it or not. And there's confusion where there's more than one type of Bible used. You can't read the Bible together in your congregation. You stood up to read together. You're all reading out of different Bibles. You're all using different rulers, and your house is going to come tumbling down, I promise you. And ain't nobody want to live in it. So I encourage you. Tomorrow is Giving Sunday at church, and man, God's been blessing. It's been a great time. Hope you'll be with us at Liberty Faith Church in Norwood, Missouri tomorrow. And it's Giving Sunday. I won't be preaching at the 11 o'clock hour. I'll be doing some Bible teaching, preaching at 9:45. But we're going to have giving hour, lots of singing. And at giving, people give to each other what they would have normally given into the church. They give it to each other, and they give it anonymously. The money, they put it in envelopes and give it to somebody and don't know who it was, gave it to you. It's a blessing. God says when you give in secret. There's three things you ought to do in secret. That is fast, pray, and give, and do it all in secret. This is Reg Kelly, Table in the Wilderness, and I just want to encourage you in the Lord and get in your old Bible and read it and love it, meditate upon it, and obey it. Until next time, so long.